So we're just on our way over now to start cutting out our third cut. It's a bit overcast, but it's not giving any rain. I think that's just a pass and it's supposed to brighten up later on. But we had one of the guys out from Martin's garage there where we bought our tractor. We had a wee bit of an issue there with the Massey. When I started it up, I couldn't help but notice that I had a warning light flashing on the dash, and I had a code popping up, an error code popping up on the dash as well. So the tractor was driving perfect, working as normal, so I just didn't want to chance it. I Google searched what the code meant, and it came up as a temperature sensor, an exhaust sensor. So I rung Ronnie, Martin's garage, and Ronnie says, send me a picture of the code, which I did, and he said I'll ring you back in 10 minutes. He went and he looked it up, rung me back in 5 minutes, and says I will send a lad out to you in about 30 minutes or so to look at it. It's a temperature sensor, basically, in the exhaust. 30 minutes or less, there was a man at the door, and a good friend of mine, but you know well, he doesn't live that far away from me, and yeah, straight to the sensor he went, hooked up the air laptop. That's the joys of tractors nowadays. But there's two sensors. There's one on the bottom, one on the top of the exhaust. The bottom is easy to get at. The one on the top, you have to take the whole guard off surrounding to get in at it. Of course, it was the one on the top that was giving the trouble, so you had to strip down the exhaust, which you did very, very fast. It took me an awful lot longer. And replaced that sensor, and that's it, problem fixed. The tractor's running fine. It's all to do with that old AdBlue that I love so much, and everybody loves so much. When the tractor reaches a certain temperature, it basically tells the AdBlue to kick in, and that's the thing that was wrong. So yeah, so you really couldn't do without that. It's 1:30 the day, and I have a right bit to mow, and I need to get at it because milking time comes very fast. I'll have to go home at about 20 past 4. So you don't really get a whole pile. That's one of the, I suppose, the disadvantages of milking. You don't get much of an evening to do anything, because you have to milk, and that's it. Milking is the most important thing. But we will get a couple of hours done. I'm hoping to get this big hill mowed, and then when I get the big hill mowed, I'll leave the back field till after milking. So let's get at it. I'm after finishing milking there now. I'm just after coming back. It's gone, the clock is not there. It's gone 20 days, and I have about 4 or 5 acres left to mow. It didn't take us long to get it knocked down. I'm actually really impressed with the crop that's on it. It's a lovely crop. It's a lovely crop of stuff. For it to be only sitting a little over 4 weeks, it grew very well, and it's nice and dry. It's just lovely, so it is. And this field we're going into here now, we'll have a quick look at it because it's very heavy as well. So let's have a look at it before we put the mower into it. So, as you can see here, a hell of a crop. Absolute hell of a crop. You see there how high it is up my knees. Unbelievable crop. It's just really happy with that. And it's all standing up. There's no weeds in it either. So happy days there. Can't complain about that. So another thing you might have noticed when I was starting out today's video is I was putting something on the back of the window of the Massey. And I know a lot of you are going to ask if I'm not going to address what it is. And I'm going to address what it is now. Now, way back I mentioned that a guy from Farmhand came to my house talking to me about the Krone mowers. Farmhand supply Krone mowers. They supply them to most dealers around the country. And when he came, a guy called Cormac, and we had a good chat because he's a farmer as well and he's into his machinery. So he spent very little time actually talking about the mower. We talked about tractors and different things, and he was very interested in my hedge cutter, the PA 93 that I did up. But he was talking about a hedge cutter he has himself, and he does a bit of hedge cutting as well. And he did mention to me one thing I should look up is a company called Tractor Guard. They make these guards that literally attach to your windows for any make and model tractor you have. Little suction cups that attach to the window, and then you got these little like bungee straps that's attached to them that goes in underneath. You might have seen me doing that earlier on, and the two of them hook together, so if the suction cups ever fail, which they probably won't if you get your windows nice and clean, but if they ever fail, it's not going to fall off because the bungee straps will still hold them in place. The more he talked about it, the more I was interested, because I did want something, and I mentioned that ages ago when we did get this tractor. When we put the hedge cutter on it, I do not want it to get damaged. I definitely do not want to break a window. Last year when I was using the hedge cutter for the first time, I had one stone that flew just when I was nearly finished and hit the side window of the 6470, which would be a similar window to this here, and it did scare me because it was a right clatter and it didn't break the window. But I just said to myself, that's the first time I've been out with it, and I do not want to break a window in this tractor. So Cormac said he got ones from this company called Tractor Guard. Check them out. So next day I went on the computer myself to try to find out what price they were. That was the first thing I was thinking of, how much are these things going to cost. So on the internet, I just typed in Tractor Guard. I looked them up and I couldn't find any prices on their website. So all I could find was a little form that you fill in and you give the model and make of your tractor and they'll come back to you. So that's what I done. Only put my name in it, put the model of the tractor, and said I was looking for two protection guards. One for this curved glass window down here and one for the door. Nothing else. So this is exactly what happened after that. The following morning, I was milking the cows. About 7:30, I was just finishing off, and I got an email on my phone. And it basically said on the email, your item is shipped. And I was there, what item? So I do buy stuff online here and there from different places. So I didn't pass too much remarks on it. I went into the house, had my breakfast, went out, started doing my jobs, and I came in at dinner time and I looked at my phone again and it just drew my attention again to it. What is this crowd? So I looked it up and then I seen the word Tractor Guard. And I was there to myself, well, I didn't know there was anything Tractor Guard. Nothing at all off them. So I looked and looked for a number and eventually I found one and I contacted them. And I was told, basically, when you cut out all the rest, I was told, Adrian, we're big fans of your channel. When we seen your name pop up on the inquiry form, we decided we were going to send out a set of guards for you on the house. How cool is that? And not only did they send them out on the house, but he said, I see you have a mower. He says, and if you're going to intend on using your mower all the time, I do suggest you use the guard that we sent you for your back window as well, just in case a stone would fly. So we got the backyard thrown in as well. So I was absolutely delighted. We got that back about a month or more ago now. It's been sitting in the shed. I did mention it a couple of times in videos before. We just never opened it. When the hedge cutting's been done, I will fit the other ones and leave the back one on. Then you get a good look at them yourselves and you can work out what you think of them. But so far so good. They seem to be very, very popular. Loads of people seem to have them. And yeah, I like them. They don't fade in the sun. They will scratch. Yes, they will scratch. You just have to be careful to not rub them down with a dry cloth or a lump of grass or whatever. Just wash them down with a sponge and you should be fine. So they will scratch, but they will not fade in the sun. So that's it. That's from Tractor Guard. Thanks very much to them guys for doing that. Can't wait till we're actually cutting hedges now in about 3 weeks' time, because I have ordered something long before this was ever talked about. I actually did order something for the bonnet of the tractor to protect the tractor, but we'll not get into that yet. We'll wait until the hedge cutting video is coming. I think it's something pretty cool and a lot of you might like it. Enough said. Anyway, I'm going to get in here and start mowing this field. cannot get over the crop that's on this field. Cannot get over it. It's the best crop of the year. And it's just amazing to see it, because we didn't sow a huge amount of fertiliser on it. It got slurry, yes, watery slurry, which seemed to have a better effect than anything that was thick. And we got 2 bags of nitrogen per acre, and that was it. It just grew like mad, and it got dry weather. It wasn't mighty growing weather. Now we're just jumping out. Absolutely lovely evening, but we're just jumping out of the tractor to show you how nice a crop it actually is. Look at that, like, you can't get much better than that. It's just lovely and thick, very little seed, just perfect stuff. Nice leafy grass. I'm really happy with that. That's going to make lovely bales. The mower's going great. It's absolutely shaving the ground now. Cormac was out with me back a few weeks ago just to have a look, because I had a few concerns when I cut out the second cut that it wasn't just shaving the ground, and I didn't want to turn it down too much, but I was wrong. It was definitely operator error. I needed to turn it down more. He looked at the bed of the mower himself and he said, "You see that paint, the way it's worn on that bed? Well, that's what I came out to see." And I can tell you straight away, he says, "Your mower is not turned down enough. Don't be afraid to turn it down." So I have it well turned down now, and yes, it is shaving the ground. Although it's late in the evening and I had an early start this morning, I won't tell you a lie, I am tired. I love this job. Absolutely love mowing at my own silage. I get to look at the crop, and when it's like this here, there's nothing as pleasing.
We lost our minds in the darkness of night. We live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. What's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. Surrounded by the night, we live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light.
So that's it, that's the mower all washed and all finished. Now, a lot of you are going to ask the big question. Now that it's all washed, is it washed because it's going back? Or is it washed because it's getting put away for the winter? Okay, I'm going to explain this to you as simple as can be. This mower was offered to me by Farmhand first and Martin's Garage, because I was looking for a mower. I was looking at several others. I said I was looking at Malone, I was looking at Pottinger, Krone, a couple of different mowers in a couple of different sizes. Didn't get to see the Pottinger, which I know is a good mower. I know the Pottinger is a really good mower. I didn't get to see the Krone because it wasn't in stock, but I seen one that was very like the one that I would have been getting on demo. Was just going to be waiting a little bit of time for it to come in. But I got a phone call from Martin's telling me that this one here was after coming in, because I had mentioned to him a few weeks beforehand, and he said, "Come up, have a look at it, and if you're interested, we can do a demo on it." We cut our second cut with it. That was the first time we had cut our own silage in a long time. You guys got to see it. I'll put a link in the description of that video if you want to go back and watch it. But the initial impressions were good, not brilliant. Problem I had was it wasn't even the finish that I would have liked. But then I found out afterwards, because Cormac from Farmhand came out and had a look at the mower and told me straight away what I was doing wrong. He said, you just need to turn your mower down. I didn't want to turn it down too much for fear of maybe breaking something. And he said, no, I can tell by looking at the bed of your mower, by the paint, the way it's worn on it, that you're not turning that mower down near enough. I had the very same one, he said, at home, and I shaved the ground with it. So I turned it down, and you think you can see from the cut that was on that field, it shaved it. That's our third cut done now with it. So we have 2 cuts done, and we're getting to the stage where we're going to have to make a decision. I rung up Ronnie and I told him we're keeping the mower. We have bought this Krone mower, it now belongs to us. And yes, it's an investment, but you know something? It's one worth making. I'm happy to make it because now we can go out and mow our own silage at certain times of the day whenever we like, and that has worked great for our second cut and for our third cut. Bailey's approving here now and she come down to me, and Hudson's never too far away. There was a couple of reasons why I didn't bother demoing anything else, and they're quite simple. I know a contractor who's good friends with me who runs Krone mowers exactly like this, no conditioner on them. And he's a guy I would take his word for. Yes, everybody has their personal choice in different machinery, and comes to tractors, machinery, whatever. Everybody has their own choices. A lot of people mentioned to me, would you not consider getting one with a conditioner? Okay, one answer to that as simple as I can. We don't really need a conditioner. It would be an extra expense, huge expense, and the mower's already expensive as it is. And if you think we got a discount in this, you're thinking wrong. The only discount we got on this, because we're on YouTube and we have a little bit of a following now, is the stand. Farmhand give us the stand with the mower as part of the deal, and we're really happy to get that, because I think that stand, I don't think you could do without it on this mower. I think once you use it and see how easy it is to take off, it's not something you can really do without. And I do say, if you're looking at one of these mowers, don't get it without the stand. Get the stand. It's not hugely expensive or anything, and I think it just makes the whole thing so much more easier to use. For the extra expense the conditioner would have cost, which is quite a considerable amount, I don't think we need it. Our first cut, as you see there, if you watch our videos, you see our first cut is normally mowed out and left lying flat out on the ground, not put into rows, and then it's raked up into 40-foot swiths and lifted, and that's the way it's been done for the past number of years. Our baling was normally, yes, sometimes it was used a trail mower with an auto sweater on the back of it and would throw it into the swiths, granted, but I know guys who have this mower with a conditioner. Only recently I was talking to one guy who lives beside me who has a mower like this one, exactly the same, with a conditioner on it, and he said to me, do you know what, we could have done without the conditioners. We're still raking it up and then we're baling it. So that's it, you see. It's not hard to get a man in with a rake the thing up. At least when you cut it like this, you have it in smaller swiths, gives it more time to dry out and wilt in the field, which is actually in the far distance there is exactly what it's doing. The rake's set correctly and the right man's on it, it rakes up nice and easily. Our third cut now that is cut last night and finished, that was sown around 4 weeks ago. So yes, there will be nitrogen in it. What we're going to do is we're going to leave it today, and we're going to leave it most of tomorrow. It's given the sun to break through now. It's only 11 o'clock and it's a lovely drying out, but it is giving a sunny afternoon. Fairly good temperatures of 20-21 degrees, and that should help to take that out of it, leave it on the ground, just let it wilt for a while, and then hopefully we'll bale it tomorrow evening and it should be grand. Anyway folks, that's it for today's video. I'm going to leave it there for now. We're going to have loads of videos coming up now, because we've one on the power washing and equipment that we use for it, and we're going to be drawing in bales, and we've another job we're going to start doing up on top of this hill very shortly. So plenty of stuff happening in the next week, 2 weeks. So as always, thanks very much for watching this video. Don't forget, hit that sub button, give us a like, you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of jazz is in the links down below. Until the next one, talk to you again. Yeah, you know I'm watching you. Panned out.